the hospital called, and they don't know if Beth will make it through the night.
Alexandra, I'm so sorry. Do you want me to come?
No, the rules, Richard.
Right. The rules.
If there's one thing that you guys could say has a special meaning, well, it could be anything, something kind of like a replay value, what would it be for you?
I mean, there's like little things that people might not notice on the first watch. Like Alexandria never takes her jacket off in the room. She's very guarded and closed off in that way. And it's always November at 3:15 in this room. Do you have a special thumbprint that you put in here?
If I do, I'm not even aware of it. I know there were kind of like things that I would try to keep consistent as far as how I was filming it. And there was a couple of scenes where we would try to move as the conflict of the scene emerged and one person kind of would take the role. We would try to switch the side of the screen that they were on. So little things like that we were able to kind of succeed. But again, our prep time and our film time was pretty rushed. So when we could, we would do it, and when we couldn't, we would have to just let it go and keep going and do the best we could.
What was the finances of basically funding a web series?
So we did a Kickstarter to begin with. We wanted this to be, I've made a lot of short films, and like I said, I did a web series before too, and I've done them all myself, just beg, borrow, steal, and my own money. And I wanted to do something finally with a budget, and also because I'm in the union now as an actor, it has to be a union production. So I really wanted to have a full crew and full room to play as professionally as I could. So we did a Kickstarter, and that failed. It was November. The election happened in the middle of it. People had a lot of bigger concerns. So that was difficult, a lot of crying. And then after that, I just felt like the ball was already rolling. I wanted to tell this story for so many years. And some people who pledged donations said, hey, that sucks that it didn't work out, but we'd still love to see this happen. We're going to honor our pledge. And so we had a little bit of money, not amount that we needed and wanted. So we had already cast one actor. We had to cut him because we couldn't afford to do that. We couldn't afford to have a sound person. Almost all of the money that people pledged ended up actually going to pay insurance things. And so it was still a lot of beg, borrow, steal. Everything in here, this room was completely empty. We had to furnish it. It's all thrift store stuff. So yeah, it was really tough.
We both kind of were excited about this film being it, but at the end of the day, it's like, no, we want to make this story. So yeah, and I don't really know what I would do with a budget. Because, it was like...
We've been so long just struggling to get back.
Once we found out that we were going to, still do this, I basically took the amount that I would have given to the Kickstarter from my own pocket and did what I could with, upgrading some equipment and getting necessary stuff. And we made it work, which is, it only has to look good for that one shot that it's in. So we just did it, and I think, you do what you have to do.
That's a really good point, because a lot of aspiring filmmakers, whether it be writing or acting and shooting, it's one of those things that you end up trying to scrounge up all the resources. What kind of advice would you end up giving to someone looking at creating a web series or shooting one?
If somebody wants to make something, they should, absolutely. Now the technology is much more accessible, even if you're just shooting it on your phone. And there's lav mics you can plug into your phone. So there's a lot of opportunity for people to DIY something. And if that's the path you want to take, I say go for it. Understand that it's a lot of work, and
I mean, on the note of technology, there's a lot of really cool technology out there that is more affordable than ever. At the whole, it still gets really, really expensive and you need money. But I think what people forget, especially like on the cinematography side, is you kind of become a gearhead. And at the end of the day, you are a storyteller and you're telling a story. And I think, especially for this film, if you have a strong story and it's being like sincerely displayed, a lot of the other bells and whistles of the sleekness of how well it looks, it won't matter. So don't get too caught up in the techniques of it for technique's sake. Like, tell the story you want to tell, and do the best you can on everything else. But if you do have a good story, it's gonna shine through and carry everything.